Many of you out there have told me that you really struggle to make pavlovas. Well, I'm going to show you my recipe that's foolproof. The thing about pavlovas is you want them to be really crunchy on the outside and a little bit sticky on the inside. Now, I've given myself a head start by cracking the eggs into a bowl. We need to separate the egg whites into one bowl and then the egg yolks into another. Now, when it comes to making meringue, so for the pavlovas, you need to ensure that every bowl is clean wherever the egg whites are going, because that can affect the lift and the aeration of the eggs. And use good quality free range eggs when I'm doing this recipe. So breaking the last one, so you need 6 egg yolks for this. So again, separating it, and then I'll just get that last bit off. It's also a great idea to crack the eggs into a bowl first before you place it into a mixer, just in case you do drop a little bit of eggshell in there or a little bit of the egg yolk. And then now we can start whisking this until we get firm peaks, but not stiff peaks, because if it's stiff peaks, it's gone too far. So just firm peaks, and I'll add a pinch of salt at this stage. So the lid goes on, and then when this starts to become pale, white and frothy, that's when I start to add my caster sugar. Okay, now that the firm peaks have formed, we can start adding the sugar. So little bit by little bit, I'll add the sugar until it's dissolved and it's really glossy. Okay, we've used up all of the sugar, and look at that, light and fluffy, it's doubled in size. The best way to check that it's absorbed the sugar nicely is just by putting a little bit of the egg white between your fingers, and if it's not too grainy anymore, it means that the sugar has been incorporated well. Now, in order to get that crunch and the crust on the pavlova, we need to add a few more ingredients to this, and you do it at this stage once all the sugar has been incorporated. A little bit of white wine vinegar, and then I will sprinkle over some corn flour. And then for some flavourings, you can add many different flavourings. You can add some rose water here, or some orange blossom water, or just some very simple vanilla. So I'll add a hint of that, and then I'll place the lid back on. And just on a really, really low speed, we're just folding this and incorporating the last of the ingredients. Fantastic, that's completely incorporated now. So now it's time to bake them. I've prepared 2 trays just with a little bit of baking paper, and I've just traced on some 10cm circles, leaving a 5cm gap between each circle, so they've got plenty of room when they're baking in the oven. Now with a spoon, I'll portion out this mixture into the middle of each of the circles. And they will break when they're in the oven. They will deflate a little bit, but that's okay because that's how it should be. Now just spread it out so it just fits in the circle, and then just make a little nest in the center, an indentation, so we can fill that with lots of lovely cream and some fruit. Now I've preheated my oven to 160 degrees fan force, and these are going to go straight in. Then I'm going to turn it down immediately to 130 degrees, and they're going to cook for about 30 minutes or until they dry out and become really crunchy on the outside. Now the pavlovas are cooked. Look how crunchy they are. I'm so happy with them. The trick is to leave them to cool for at least half an hour in the oven before taking them out and cooling them completely on the tray. That way we get that extra assurance that they're going to be crispy. And you can see that they've cracked a little bit and they've deflated in the center. That's completely fine. Now to serve this, I'm doing it the very classic way. Some good old whipping cream and some icing sugar into the food processor, and this is going to take moments to whip. We don't want to over whip it, so keep an eye on it. And I'll start on a medium speed, and then I'll start to slowly add the sifted icing sugar. Now you can be really creative with your pavlovas with the different types of toppings. I'm going to do a bit of a purple theme today with these gorgeous violet flowers, some blackberries and some blueberries. Okay, now I'm going to add the icing sugar. You can add a little bit more depending on how sweet you like your cream. And then we'll turn it off, and all we need to do now is plate up. And I'm going to go for this one because it's just absolutely perfect. And now a big dollop of cream in the centre. Be generous with the cream. Just allow it to just gently fall onto the pavlova. And now for the fruit. Now you can macerate these gorgeous blackberries and blueberries if you like, meaning just pop them in a bowl with a little bit of sugar, break them up a bit so some of the juices come out, but I'm going to keep them whole and I'm going to add quite a lot of them. And just put the little blueberries on top. They can fall on the side, that's fine. And then the pièce de résistance is these gorgeous flowers. These edible flowers can be found at selected greengrocers. If you can't find them, all you need to do is ask your greengrocer to pre-order them and they'd be happy to do it for you. You know, if you've got a special occasion coming up, pavlovas are the way to go because you can pre-do the bases. Once they're cooked, they'll last for a few days. Just make sure you seal them correctly, even just leave them in the oven. And then all you need to do is whip up some cream and then dress it with your favourite fruit.